It happens. There's no such thing as a perfect prospect.
Yeah.
Right? I'm interested here because I want to know who do you think he compares to? If you had to compare him to somebody.
We got a text today in the Mike Rutherford show on the Gameday Men's Health text line with someone saying that all they use ChatGPT for now is comparing for Louisville players, basically. And they sent in what ChatGPT gave them for player comparisons for our projected potential draft picks, right? And those are Adrian Woolley, based on some of the reports, obviously Michael Brown, and then Sonny Frew. The Michael Brown player comparisons we got were Tyrese Maxey, Darius Garland, and Trae Young. Adrian Woolley's were Jordan Clarkson, Malik Monk, and De'Aaron Fox. And Sonny Frew's, I think ChatGPT only was deciphering him defensively because it was Jared Vanderbilt, Jaden McDaniels, and Jonathan Isaac. So
I'm not gonna lie to you, I hate those.
Those three,
I hate those.
You're only getting
not like all of them, but like the Sananda Frew comparisons, I cannot stand any of those. Maybe Jonathan Isaac, but it's not that Vando's not a good player. It's not that Jalen McDaniels. They are like specifically wings.
Yeah, exactly.
Sananda Frew is not a wing.
I would give you Jonathan Isaac at Florida State. I'd give him what he was at Florida State, not even what he is as an NBA player. But I really
like. So Michael, you said
they said ChatGPT said Tyrese Maxey, Darius Garland, and Trae Young.
See, I compare Taylor Kinney to Tyrese Maxey in a little bit.
Yeah, I do. I like that. I like that comparison. He's like a LaMelo Ball, Trae Young to me.
Yeah,
Darius. He plays faster than Darius.
Darius from like a half court feel. I like the Darius comp.
The ball handling and passing ability. Tyrese is a score-first guard.
I kind of like the Halliburton.
He's like a Halliburton LaMelo.
Because Halliburton's about 6'4", 6'5", and that's what Michael is.
Plays fast.
Now, granted, Michael at this point in his career was a better scorer in high school than Halliburton was. Halliburton's a better defender.
I'd say better than Garland, too.
In terms of a guy that you don't really speed up much, you can't really slow down much, you play at his pace that he wants you to play at.
Yeah, you react to him.
And that's what very seldomly are there going to be carbon copy comparisons.
Never.
I just don't see. So you have to pull comparisons from different spots. And I like the Halliburton. Parts of the Maxey, I think that Maxey has that like
step back scoring stuff. I can kind of see it a little bit.
Even then, I say that Michael's still got the deep bag offensively, right?
The pull up against France after the big block, that pull up was very Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah,
right. He has his little moments as a scorer and a shooter, especially off the dribble. The shooting off the dribble, he's a lot like Tyrese Maxey. His full court passing ability and offense conducting, it's a lot like Tyrese Halliburton. His ability to where you have to react to him at all times. The defense is never going to be in control of what Michael's doing. Reminds me a lot of like LaMelo. So he's got a lot of different features that are similar to some guys that we're seeing on a all-star path in the NBA right now.
This is hilarious. I'm sitting there. I looked it up too. One of them said Ish Smith
for Michael.
Michael might be better than Ish Smith right now. I'm playing, but that's hilarious.
At this very moment, I'd like to.
Somebody said Chris Paul, and I'm like, from like a floor general standpoint, maybe, but you're also comparing him to like the best vision point guard of all time.
I'd say in the pick and roll.
Another one said Jeff Teague, and I don't really like that one either. There aren't many players that play like Michael in terms of like that skill set. His offensive like toolkit, low key, from like an efficiency standpoint, it kind of gives me like his scoring repertoire is like a Jordan Poole, not Jordan Peele. I don't know if Jordan Peele can play ball or not. He can make movies. He can make skits, but I don't know.
Wait, no, Peele's the shorter one?
Yeah.
No.
Keegan-Michael Key was probably a demon on the court.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele's probably one of those guys that's like, make it rain, brick.
Yeah, but he's double dribbling, but he's going to get one shot that goes in his pickup game.
And he'll tell you about it all day, you know.
He'll actually act like Kobe Bryant after.
Kids, there's always, that kid in gym class. I don't know if you ever had, would you have freshman year PE?
That was like required. So it was like
same.
That was like we had activities. Sophomore, junior, and senior, that was like we walked into the gym and
there was one of those kids that when I was a freshman in high school, going back, there was a guy who always blamed his shot on, dude, you didn't put it in form with my shooting motion. We're all just like, okay, bro, you're just not that guy. And then he makes like a step back three that he couldn't replicate, and he's like, see, this is the guy I am outside of this gym, and he lets you know for the rest of the day. And that's kind of like what I'm comparing to. Keegan Michael Key's that guy's like, I'm gonna drop 20 and just not talk.
One for
not talk trash.
3 points.
Yeah, no, it is what it is, guys. But
I like the Jordan Poole though, offensive
Jordan
kind
Poole,
of bag.
the
bag, the ability to keep that dribble alive.
The way he contorts his body in midair, like that step back, like fadeaway, gives me Poole vibes. Like he doesn't need much space to pull
and
it
when
off.
he goes up downhill and he gets up in the air, his ability to receive contact and keep his body in a position to get the basket up anyway.
I just hope he doesn't have Jordan Poole's motivation on the court.
I was about to say, now when you compare a player to Jordan Poole, it's almost like you're trying to call them like a net negative player.
But imagine winning a championship, being a vital piece to that, feeling like you're about to play with Steph Curry for the next couple of years and be in a position to win another one, and you get cracked and traded away.
Yeah.
I get it, though, because I don't want him to replicate any aspects of the mindset that Jordan Poole has. But I do understand what led to Jordan Poole kind of getting to that state he's in. But nevertheless, did you just look up the Michael there, or did you?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
What does Sonny Frew say? Because
I didn't look up
Sananda Frew's offensive ability, I think there's a lot of different opinions on that, what that is, like differing opinions on what he's going to be as a scorer for us. And I see these footages of him, and he can do it all. He can catch it out. He can, running the floor, catch it, one dribble, one move, get to the rim. He can catch it on the roll. He can create a basket, facing the basket. He can create a basket, back to the basket. He's hit the open threes in some of these games I've watched.
From a frame aspect, I don't agree with it, but from a playing standpoint, Bam Adebayo is a lot better than Jalen McDaniels. Evan Mobley, he's got to be a better shooter for me. Evan Mobley's just like a unicorn type guy.
Yeah.
Evan
dribble, shoot, pass.
Yeah, if put it this way, to even be able to come close with that, Frew's got to be a good rim protector. It got to be a really good rim protector, which he was really good in the BBL.
Love the BBL.
Yeah,
I have a crazy comparison here. This is
with the BBL or Evan Mobley?
No, with the
Sananda Frew.
Sananda Frew comparison.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the BBL comparison. I was like,
I don't compare
producer Matt, what'd you do to Rome?
I don't have any BBL comparisons for Sonny Frew, but I do have do you remember the rookie Giannis footage?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know how
before Milwaukee turned him into a full-time point guard.
I don't know what the Sonny Frew ball handling abilities are like, but he seems like a guy that it seems like he's got the length and the stride to where if he can keep control and secure basketball, you can't stop him from getting to the rim.
I don't hate that. I actually think that's a deep pull. Good stuff. That's a almost generational pull right there. Rookie year Giannis is
rookie
a really
Giannis footage. I'm seeing a lot of the similar stuff that I saw from Sonny Frew in the BBL.
I like that. Pretty interesting.
The only thing I can remember from rookie year
is that a crazy statement there, fellas?
The only thing I can remember from rookie year Giannis footage is the one video where the announcer calls him Antetokounmpo.
Actually, that was I'd seen people say that that's the correct pronunciation for his name, like the native pronunciation for it. It was something wild, but the way it was said, there were people in the comments this is actually the right way you say it, but
Antetokounmpo probably isn't right.
No, they say it wasn't right. But speaking of right, we'll see who's going to be right between you all in comparison to my prediction when we talk about who in the world is going to start in the starting five and who is going to be on the court at the end of games for Louisville men's basketball. We'll predict when we come back on segment number 3 of Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio.
Just the Cats with Michael Bennett.
Hey man, UK's doing one thing. They're getting a lot of 3 stars. This is now the 3rd commit from the state of Texas. You wonder
It's Roman Kelly and producer Matt in studio with you on this final day of June. Talking a lot about Louisville basketball next year. Michael Brown Jr., pretty solid. Ali Khalifa, eligible. 502-414-1450 to get in to the Game Day Men's Health text line. Any thoughts you have? And definitely predicting who is going to be in the starting five for the Cardinals. So let's go to the drawing board here, fellas. Locks to start for Louisville. Michael Brown Jr. is one. He's going to start. So now you have 4 spots left. Is Case and Pryor a for-sure starter in your mind?
If he's fully healthy.
Well, let's say he is because...
Yes.
Okay, Matt, is he a for-sure starter?
I'm going to say no.
Okay. Wow, well, that kind of threw a wrench in my plans because I was hoping we were going to have 2 that we could... Okay, is Ryan Conwell a for-sure starter?
Yes. I don't think he should be, but yes.
Matt?
I think so, but I also think that, like, you could throw Adrian Woolley in there too, but I think it's going to be Ryan Conwell.
Okay, so the only, like, guaranteed starter that I feel like we have currently is Michael Brown Jr. The way that you can construct the lineup after that is really based upon personal preference. Are you going... Put it this way. I think Louisville starts 3 guards regardless. I think the Cardinals are starting 3 guards. I don't think that you can get Michael, more importantly, get 3 elite guards back to back to back in the portal that quickly without saying that you're going to a 3-guard lineup. I just don't think it's possible. I don't think that the minutes are there to convince Isaac McNeely or Ryan Conwell, definitely not both, that if you run a 2-guard lineup, everything's going to be okay. 3-guard lineup opens up significantly more minutes, and your strength is your guard play. Could there be situations where you see a traditional wing or Hadley or Kenai Roots is able to slide into the 3? Yeah, but I don't think it's like going to happen when the game starts. I think it's very situational. It's very opponent specific. I think that it's Michael and 2 of the 3. Adrian Woolley, Ryan Conwell, or Isaac McNeely. And I think, for me, should it be like this? I don't know. Do I think it's going to be like this? Yes, I think Isaac and Ryan start, especially early in the year. They are the vets.
Yep.
They are coming from Power 5 basketball. Adrian Woolley is not.
But you could say the same about him and how you got him here, right? He didn't
I get it.
get all those offers from other places after that year to come here and...
exactly why I'm saying that you're starting 3 guards. Because what happens, your 6th man can come in and play, starting level minutes. I think that with these guys, to convince them is like, yeah, you might not start, but look, you're going to play enough minutes. That's the give and take here. I just like those. There are people out there, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but when you say it's like Michael and Ryan, and then it's Hadley, Pryor, and Frew, and I'm like, I can't see that because of what you just went to the portal and did. So I think it's 3 of the guards. I think it's Pryor. And then I think it's Frew. I think that's my starting 5, Matt.
Hadley's your 6th man then.
Hadley and Woolley. Yeah. Both
whoever
of them.
needs the guard or...
Exactly. You can put them both in.
Because, yeah, if Frew gets in foul trouble, you move Kenai down, or bring in Alley.
Because with Pryor is that, yes, especially early on, he's not going to fully be he might be 100%, but you're trying to still work him into game shape, right?
And he's not going to be a 36-minute a night guy anyway.
He shouldn't be. No, he shouldn't be either. I think that's my starting 5 there. I think that Woolley, Hadley, and Khalifa, gosh, that's an incredible 1 through 8. That's the guys coming off your bench.
It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. I think you're right, Dalton. I agree with you. Do I personally feel like it's your best plan of action with what I think Hadley, Pryor, and Frew bring as a wing in front court? I think it doesn't get a whole lot better than that. Now, I'm also 100% with you. You didn't bring in the number 2 3-point shooter in the ACC, number 1 option for his team, best player on his team, at a Virginia team that was up and down. They weren't awful. They weren't completely
They weren't
terrible.
a good team, but you could tell it wasn't because of him because the shooting numbers were immaculate.
He made them better.
Oh.
They would have been a lot
And
worse.
also, like, it takes away from the full strengths of your team. Like, you're wanting to be known as an elite level shooting team, right?
Isaac has to start.
I mean, Conwell and Woolley kind of fit that as well. Same with Michael, but you have to play those three guards because if you don't, are you telling me that Louisville can be an elite level shooting team with Hadley, who showed he could make them last year, wasn't a guy that
and down.
sought after?
Yeah.
Case and Pryor, who can be a guy, but to start out the year,
He's
he
going to
wasn't
shoot
good.
him. He's going to shoot him.
Sananda Frew, we don't know. I don't think he's
You're
a
right.
3-point shooter until we can be told he isn't, or be told he is. I mean, it's so at that point, what's the identity of your team? I think the identity of your team is that you're a shooting team.
Run and gun.
Yeah, you're a shooting team. You score a lot of points. You play much better defense than what people think.
You don't lose anything in your skill set or your pace of play in your backcourt.
Exactly.
I mean, think about that. Just you take out Conwell and you take out Conwell and Isaac, or Conwell and Michael. I'm sorry, and you bring in Kobe and Woolley, and you don't lose any of your versatility out there in the
one of
perimeter.
those other guards in potentially.
Isaac slots to the three, and now you can play a little bit of small ball. Javon, Ali.
You've got Ali coming in. You've got Hadley as well as your four, and then
I think that
not
Ali
to mention
Khalifa,
you'll have Roots kind of coming in at random times. I think. I think
you're right.
Same with Zugris. Zugris is going to be one of those end of the rotation guys that gives you about 10 minutes a game, and then I think Muhammad Kamara is a red shirt. I truly think he is.
Wouldn't be mad at it.
No, I wouldn't be either. But I think that's the course of action.
A player who is on path to redshirt, but athletically he can play if he
If
needs
you
to.
need him to.
Yeah.
I mean, the hope is that you don't have 4 entries to start the year, and you have to.
Yeah, and it's not a redshirt from the start of the year; it's a redshirt at the end of the year.
Exactly.
That would be ideal there. I think you're right, and I think the main point that you've made, Dalton, that I agree with the most, is that it's going to be a game-to-game thing. Now, I don't think that the actual lineup philosophy is going to change game to game, but we're going to have games where 70% of our minutes are in the 3-guard lineup, and we're going to have games where 40% of our minutes are in a 3-guard lineup, right? And that's all going to come based on the matchups. And having a 1 through 8 that has so many versatile lineups that you can go to and look at, really 1 through 9, depending on how you feel about Zubris and Kamara. I think that's going to be key. I think you're going to have games like we just said. You're going to have your starters. I think you're right. I think it's going to be Michael, Conwell, McNeely, and Frew. Now that 4 and 5 spot, if Pryor's not 100%, you didn't convince Hadley to come back.
Yeah, I mean, Hadley.
And come off
that's
the
the thing
bench
about it
with
is
an
that
unhealthy
you have
Pryor.
to, what we have to understand is that starting doesn't always equate to like lack of minutes or
Exactly.
like I'm like, if you're not starting, that doesn't mean you're not playing. How do you think? I mean, I hate to bring it up, but John Calipari at Kentucky, how do you think you convince so many 5-stars to join a class? And that's because you're going to get yours.
Yeah.
It's just you're not going to hear your name called in those starting lineups, and that's okay. But is that starting 5? Is that who's going to be ending the game for Louisville?
I don't think so.
Who gets? You think it's Woolley and for who? For McNeely?
I think we go big. I think it's Michael.
So you think we'll throw Pryor, Hadley, and Frew / Khalifa in there, and
with McNeely and Michael.
depends on the team we play. Really, I feel like
If you're going up against like a Duke, you're going up against like one of those just bigger.
it
teams.
also depends on if you're winning or not.
True.
Because if you're not winning, I think that you are you're throwing in as much gunpowder as you can, right?
and you're
wanting
changing it
as
off
much
and-
guard play. You might have 4 guards in the lineup,
Exactly.
and Sananda Frew or Case and Pryor at that 5. I think there's going to be times where we see those 4 guards play together.
Yeah. We're going to
I
have
think
games
so.
where we do take the outscoring mentality.
The 120 to 119.
I want to see it.
120 to 119 W is better than a 69 to 68 loss.
It is. It
I-
definitely is.
Scoring points is good, people. Matt, what do you think?
I really believe that I kind of agree with you more, Dalton. Like, I really
figured you would.
I really want to believe that, foreseeing from what we saw from Javon Hadley last year, that Javon Hadley would be in the starting lineup to start the season at least, give that veteran leadership out there, somebody who's played in this culture. But like you said, if we're bringing in all of these elite level ball players, I mean, you can't imagine. The question the whole offseason's been, where are these minutes going to come from? You can't imagine these dudes aren't going to get either starting minutes or rotate starting minutes. I'd say Michael, Ryan Conwell, Isaac McNeely, Sonata Frew, and then I would love to say Javon, but I think that Kason Fryer is a closer option, but I don't think he's going to start.
Didn't Kason come off the bench at the start of last season?
He came off the bench.
At times. There were times where he started, but when he
got to that tournament,
when he struggled, he came off the bench. Like, he came off the bench early on in that tournament, and I think he started the last game.
That's right.
But I think that, we just have so many options that I feel like we're going to see these lineups change a lot throughout the season with people like Kobe Rogers and Ali Khalifa, Kenai Ruths, and Adrian Woolley and Isaac Nilly coming off. Like, they might come off the bench, but you know what I mean, having all those options. Yeah, I really think that we're gonna be able to match up well against almost every team in the country, and we're gonna be able to build a roster to that. And I think we're gonna see something different that we didn't see a lot last year. We saw more ISO ball last year because of Terrence Edwards and Chucky Hepburn. I think we're gonna be a seriously big transition, push the pace kind of team with having so many dudes and having a ball player and a distributor like Michael Brown. And I think it's just gonna be really exciting. It's gonna be really high octane.
I think you're right, Matt. I think that's a great point. I think another key aspect of that is going to be the off-ball movement. I think we're going to move more off-ball. I think it's not going to just be rain going around the James Scott screens, right? Chucky did it a little bit as well. We all of our guards played off-ball, but you're going to have everybody moving at all times in the half court because of the stretching the floor. When you've got a Sonny Frew who you have to stay in arm's distance because if he catches it with a head of steam, even out on the perimeter, he can beat you to the basket. You're going to have an Ali Khalifa who's going to just sit out there in the paint. If you leave him open, he's going to let it fly. If you come too tight, he's going to get around you and make the right play. The versatility we're going to have in our off-ball movement in these kind of heavy guard lineups is going to be critical. And Dalton, I think ultimately I do agree. I think we start the season off with a three-guard lineup. And then I also agree with you, Matt. I don't think we run a three-guard lineup every game this season. I do think that Javon Hadley and Kason Pryor have games that they start together. I think that they're going to have those games where we're going to just try to play big from the start.
I think it's going to be tough, to really just, I don't think there's going to be, a set starting five that we're going to have throughout the entire season that, when you look at the scouting report, you know these are the five guys we got to start the game with. We got to build around them.
And Dalton, do you think there's an aspect of Pat Kelsey's, he likes to maybe create circumstances with his lineups? Abubakar Traore started the first 2 or 3 games for us last season.
I think it's going to be very. Who starts first game might not start January 1.
I don't think who starts the first game might not start the second. I think those first 5 games you might have a couple different tweaks in the lineup. And then once you get out of that, I think we'll know for certain what it is. The thing is, those tweaks can't be very. I feel like we can predict them. You're either going to go Hadley because Pryor's not what you want him to be fully yet. You don't want to have him playing intense starting minutes from the very start of a game when you can ease him in and have him play with more second units and stuff, and then maybe January you've got him 100%. Or maybe Sonny Frew takes more time, right? Or maybe Ali Khalifa is actually more productive than Sonny, and he starts within the first 10 games. There's so many question marks on how these guys are going to coincide in the Pat Kelsey system, so it's going to take time for them all to figure out. I think you're right. I think the starting five in game 1, I think that you have to go that route.
Exactly.
I think Hadley surely he's got that kind of leadership sacrificing kind of mentality going on.
Hadley doesn't want to play as many minutes as he did last year.
Definitely not at the 4, at the 5.
He played more minutes than he probably should have, but hey, man, he had to do what he had to do. But listen, when we come back, we're going to see what all has happened for NBA free agency. We're going to take a little bit of break from Cardinal Sports. Of course, it is June 30th, so we can do it. When we come back, we'll hear about what's happened. Free agency officially started at 6 o'clock. We'll take you up till 7 o'clock here on Big X Sports Radio. Clock tonight, Mondays with Dalton Pence continues. June 30th, my gosh. July 4th is literally on Friday. But D. Pence, Roman Kelly, and producer Matt taking you up till 7 tonight. We're going to talk a little NBA. You know, at this point with Cardinal sports, we're still in that, you know, no man's land. We'll see what's kind of happened throughout the league.
Josh Hart just tweeted a little like right at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, he's like
6:01 and no deals yet. What happened to the game I love? And then they started rolling in right after that.
Yeah, trying to look at this. Really not much, truthfully, has
Yeah,
happened.
Jaren Jackson Jr., as expected, signs 5-year, $240 million extension.
Good for them.
So that's good that they keep they've retained him.
The Rockets made a. Of course, you all know. If you don't know, I'm a Houston Rockets fan.
Huge deal.
Yeah, 4-year, 53 for
Rockets look good this year.
Dorian Finney-Smith. I mean, that is. He declined a $15 million player option for this year, and of course, Houston got him to take a pay cut, but in exchange, it was looking like.
Did you see the
obviously,
reports
with
that
the years?
Rob Pelinka was going around trying to draft his?
That's wild.
That's insane. And then it got back
That's
to him.
so shady, bro.
Rob's a weirdo. He always
I
has
have
been.
Lakers fans in my group chat right now telling me that he's going to be a net negative for the Rockets next year, and I'm like, do you all watch the games? Do you watch the Lakers? Anyway, I think that that's a good move for Houston's wing depth. I think you needed to replace Dylan Brooks, which you did. It would not surprise me to see if this is a 4-year deal, 3-year with the team option at the end.
I think it is.
I think it could be one of those type of things. Paul Reed going back to the Pistons for 2-year, $11 million
I thought
combined.
he would get more money than that.
I thought so as well. The one that's kind of throwing me off, bro. 3-year, $52.5 for Santi Aldama going back to Memphis. That's a. I understand, you know, with the cap inflating as much as it is, big deals like that aren't even big deals anymore. But man, that's kind of a weird one, man.
A lot of money for Aldama, and he's a two-way guy. He good defender at his position when he's guarding his position. Great playmaker, good shooter. Just feels like a lot of money for somebody that's a role player. But that's role player money now, Dalton.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Rockets fans right now are thinking that last year could be a team deal for or a team option for DFS, which I think would make a ton of sense. But looking at this, yeah, I mean, there's not much going on at the moment. But I think a lot of that is because you're seeing teams lock their stars down earlier.
Yeah.
You know,
Making them sign those extensions.
internal free agents. I mean, Kyrie's off the market, going back to Dallas. Didn't he just extend with the
Yeah.
Clippers today?
But isn't Giannis hasn't reported that he's going to, right?
Well, Giannis is a trade piece for sure. Like if
If you're Milwaukee, you've got to get the most out of him.
if you know that he's not going to, you gotta trade him. I hate to say it, but you have to recoup as much value
not
as you
getting a
can because you're going to get a lion's
superstar.
share. No,
in free agency.
Nobody's going to go to Milwaukee just to go to Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to get a lion's share of draft picks. I mean, you try to snag one
Young guy if
really
you can.
good young player. I don't know, man. What about LeBron though? LeBron, it was weird because he opted into that team to the player option, which was like 54 million.
He's always scheming.
And then his agent's like, yeah, the Lakers are primed to build around Luka, but we want to win now, so we're going to monitor the situation. What? What the hell does that mean? It means you just put $50 million on the Lakers cap, kind of hamstringing them a little bit.
We just gave Jake LaRavia
Oh, yeah.
2-year, $12 million deal. Not mad at that.
Okay.
Can we go get Ayton, please? Can we please go get DeAndre Ayton?
Do you really want DeAndre Ayton?
No, I do not want DeAndre Ayton
but
in
you
the
need a
Lakers
center.
jersey at all. But
You need a center.
and I'm thinking, based on what I keep reading, he'll be very affordable too.
Well, he dropped $10 million of the 36 that he was due this year just to get a contract.
I said they just bought him out, yeah.
Yeah, he sacrificed $10 million of that.
It feels like he's got some seriousness around him now.
I mean, it depends on okay, you
want to
sacrifice
support
that $10 million, but to do what though? You know,
To go where exactly?
were you doing it to secure a more long-term contract? Because at that point, I mean, you're still young enough to the point to where
And you're not getting that kind of money again.
no,
That was weird.
I'm taking that, bro.
But if you have the chance to go play with Luka, if you're him, right? That's got to be on your mind. I wouldn't mind a big who can hit the mid range. He's knocked down mid range shooter. He can still defend the rim, and he's a lob threat still.
Yeah.
Luka needs it.
Luka needs help. The Lakers currently
We're
set up.
cooked, bro.
Lakers currently.
Defensively.
I hate to say it because I love LeBron James, but it no longer are the days to where you can have him making that much money.
He's not a guaranteed contender. He doesn't make you a contender anymore.
Not anymore. Well, the league is not set up like that for a one-man contender.
Not at all. Not one guy makes you guaranteed a contender, which is great. I love that.
Luka and LeBron are sort of very similar players in the fact that they have to have the ball in their hands.
To be their most productive self.
Anthony and AD and LeBron worked because Anthony's an elite-level defender. He's one of the best power forwards when healthy. Luka's a guard. He's a defensive liability, but he's also a guy that, with the right pieces around him, can take you to the finals. That's what the Mavericks did. They bought into complimenting Luka Doncic.
And you're not building a roster around Luka if you're paying another player not named Luka $52 million.
And that's the point where it's like, yeah, we understand that they're building around Luka, but we want the Lakers to be committed right now. And I'm like, how can they be? You just hamstrung them. Like, what are they supposed to do now? How much cap does
and LeBron knows that, which is what I
yeah.
So
that's where I'm like, man. And then they're like, oh well, what if there's a sign and trade where they're gonna send him somewhere? And I'm like, where?
What do you say? Like,
what are you trying to give? First of all, how much? Because there's no guarantee that LeBron has another year after this one, right? I mean, he's come back for at least one more year.
He's making these comments too. Yeah.
Yeah. Year 23 could very well be his final year in the NBA. Why would any team give up a bunch of good assets that you have to match the salary, number one?
To sell tickets? Nobody's doing that.
And LeBron's not going to allow you to trade him to the Charlotte Hornets.
No.
You imagine his last season's with the Wizards?
I mean, he's not going to send you anywhere. You're not going to go get anybody from
Nah, man. Send him to the Wizards. Send LeBron to the Wizards.
Can you imagine?
Rich Paul would completely never do business with the Lakers again.
Never.
Finish off the Jordan legacy.
Switch to number 45,
He'd fit right in there with Marcus Smart, Middleton, and all those old guys that they've got now.
We start having comparisons like who's better? Who's a better Wizard, LeBron James or Marcin Gortat?
Marcin Gortat, the Polish Hammer, bro.
LeBron doesn't even do anything in the Wizards jersey that Westbrook did. He averaged a triple-double.
Hey, that Gortat screen was mean, okay?
Hey, dude, Gortat was one of the best screen-setting big men.
He got a screen named after him.
The Polish Hammer, bro. He's the guy.
The Gortat screen.
Yeah, he was man, dude. 2014, Marcin Gortat was a
force to be reckoned with. For
he
sure.
Sure was. Man, I was hoping some better news would have popped up. Man, truthfully, there's not really been much that's happened. But then again, this free agency class has just not been the greatest.
You guys didn't look at any Club World Cup? You guys followed any Club World Cup stuff at all?
I'm a Chelsea fan, bro. Of course.
How are you feeling?
Good that they are into the quarters. I don't like the best two signings that they made this week. Feels like a very mid-level additions. Two of them, truthfully.
Well, it was the Mamadou Sarr.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm looking at the DFS contract. It includes a non-guaranteed salary and a player option in year 4. So I don't know how in the world. I guess that's like a mutual option.
Wait. A non-guaranteed salary?
That made no sense to me.
And a player option in year 4.
It literally feels like a mutual option.
That feels like it's like, hey, if you want to be here for year 4, we're going to pay you less.
It basically means that, like,
if you take this player option, we're not giving you $13 million.
No, this is a 3-year deal. Is what
this is a 3-year
like.
deal.
This looks like a 3-year deal.
If you want to stay for that 4th year, we'll cut that deal. We'll cut it in half to down to 6.5.
You're not gonna do that because the guaranteed money is like none. So, yeah, I mean that it feels like that's a 3-year. That's a bona fide 3-year deal that just is put as a 4-year deal.
Yeah. So he clearly wanted 3+ from wherever he was going.
I mean,
Rob wasn't going to give him
if
that.
you're taking away his $15.4 million player option and you're forcing him to take less, you got to give him more years. That's the only way you can negotiate.
Yeah.
Sound like all you're missing is that no trade clause in there.
Oh man, dude, this is not the Bradley Beal situation. You know, he gives me like Luke Mbah-a-Moute vibes. Like, that's who I feel like he's going to be for the Rockets.
I like that.
If you remember, like, the 2018 Rockets when they were the number one team in the Western Conference up until Chris Paul got hurt in the conference finals,
Game
Mbah
5, he got hurt.
the end of Game 5, yeah. Mbah Muti was, like, a key piece of that rotation because he was, like, a lockdown
Best
defender.
3-and-D guy on the
And
team.
he could be a 3D guy. Yeah, him and Ariza, you just had wings on wings
Ariza
on
was
wings.
36 playing the whole game.
Yeah, he was.
He was a dog.
I was also hurt when they didn't re-sign Trevor, bro. I was like, but then
He
looking
was
back,
too, right?
I think it was just, yeah, he was. I think, well, you pay Chris Paul $40 million a year for 4 years, and that like started your decline right there.
Yeah, kind of messed up the end of the Harden era.
Yeah.
I mean, it led to the
Because
West.
then it led to the Westbrook trade, which doomed us. Complete doom. Complete doom.
Didn't we knocked that team out, right? Bubble.
We won game 1, and then Westbrook decided to fall off the cliff.
Yeah, shooting those off the backboard.
It made no sense, bro.
And then we thought, hey, this will fix our issues. Gosh.
Hold on, bro. This is hilarious. So, what in the world? Shams, of course, I trust Shams, but Shams had tweeted that he agreed to a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Lakers. Jake LaRavia did. Chris B. Haynes said it was a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Kings. What in the world? Bro signed for 2 teams?
Didn't he come from the Kings?
Yeah, he was on the Kings last season.
I think Chris B. Haynes just messed it up.
Come on, Chris, you can't do this.
Yeah, he said he corrected the tweet. That's hilarious. That'd be kind of funny. You imagine if like LeBron would have went to free agency and like if Woj was still in his prime, if like Woj and Shams just said, "Well, he went to the Cavs." Actually, no, he went back to the Heat, and everybody's just like,
Woj would never.
"Goat."
But Chris, he
Woj
lives in
goat?
L.A. Chris is a Lakers guy.
I think he just messed it up, bro.
It's just weird. He
How does this
messed it
affect
up.
Woj's legacy?
It does not. Goat.
Goat.
Woj goat.
I feel like if he beats this cancer fully, he'll be back.
He has cancer?
Yeah.
Since when?
Yeah, it came out right after he announced that he was taking that job up at
St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, he took the St. Bonaventure
Bro's got
job.
cancer?
He announced it like 2 weeks later that he's battling with prostate cancer?
In March 2024, Andrew Wojnarowski, the former ESPN NBA ASI, revealed that he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. 2024.
Yep.
Of course, not making light of any cancer, but thankfully it's prostate, which has one of the more
Higher success.
higher success rates out there. But
Yeah.
I mean, still the big C is it's a brutal thing to hear, you know.
It is. That's why he probably took one of the more simple job and be up with the wife more, I'd imagine.
What do you think? What do you think those guys like go through in terms of just like they have no free time? It feels
like Shams and Chris and Woj when he was.
yeah, it's like what do you all
Imagine
do,
your phone
bro?
buzzing and calling all day long. Pretty
It's
much
like,
the entire offseason.
You're on vacation? No, you're not. Tweet this out.
Come sit in the studio and report everything that happens, please.
I mean, granted, the clout's gotta be.
Like Shams probably has full screen time today. Like he probably has been on his phone.
That dude's Twitter drafts probably got 300 tweets in it. Just regular.
yeah.
They're like,
What's
hey, at
another
7:30
thing?
you can send these.
And you've also like, hey, graphics team, I need this now. I need you to.
Yeah, he's got a
I
whole
need you to
team.
Photoshop this jersey on. I need you to Photoshop like 5 jerseys
Like Matt
on
said,
this
like,
guy.
Hey, put this guy in this jersey, and this jersey. We need to be ready to tweet this when I get a call back from this deal that it's done.
He definitely's got a team. I mean, this dude's just as popular as any player in the NBA. I mean, he's
But
just
at
as
the same
important.
time, here's what I will say.
The clout and the money's got to make it worth it, though.
It's
Because I mean,
like-
these guys are getting paid.
You
know
got like
that.
a 2-month span of it being like this with a really crazy week right now, starting today, and then you've got the trade deadline week. That's outside of those 3. I mean, that 2-month span and then that 1 week span. His job isn't like that all the time, but on the times it is, I can't imagine.
What if it comes out in a year that Woj is actually behind NBA Centel?
Wouldn't be surprised.
I mean,
They've been going crazy lately.
Good news is-
NBA Centel.
you can tweet from your phone though, bro. I mean, like
Yeah.
you can be on the go. You
They
can be on
posted a picture
vacation.
of him like sitting on his phone there.
I mean, how many phones do you think they have though?
He's got probably 3 or 4 plus.
Like, what do you think? Just like splits it up for the teams, or agents, or like
He's probably
one's
got-
for family, one's for friends, one's
Probably
for,
got like an agent's phone.
One for
and
the
he's got
plug.
a team's phone. Like he's got. The GMs have this number. Agents have this number.
I go as far as say he's probably not even the one answering all the phones.
Nah, they
I think he probably answers.
GMs and agents he has to.
Yeah, I don't think he's big enough to
They'll hang up to hear a
big
different voice.
body. It takes a while. Like coming from someone who like I won't say I was a full-time insider. Of course, I had some sources a couple years ago, and I just kind of dropped that all to pursue my PA announcing and stuff. But there's a lot of trust involved.
And the agents have a lot of
There's
power.
a lot of trust involved, and I can only imagine. And this is with like members of like Louisville's football coaching staff. There's a lot of trust involved there to where, I mean, at times it felt like I was walking on eggshells because I didn't want to say anything I wasn't supposed to. I didn't want to jump the gun. I can only imagine if you're dealing with the GM or owner of an NBA organization, like that's something that
You've got to be precise.
yeah, and not only that, but you have to follow the timeline. Like you can't just you break it too early and it's wrong.
Now you're messing it up for everybody.
Now you're
Both organizations,
I mean,
the
once
player.
your credibility takes a hit, man, it's hard to get that back.
He's already had a couple moments too, and since then he's been tight-knit.
Nothing. You imagine him like waking up like Shams. We just traded Luka to the Lakers. He's like, huh? You said what?
on his phone all night long, like waking up at 2
goes
a.m.
to sleep and wakes up to a phone call. You need to tweet this, and people are gonna think you're lying. But we just traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers,
This
and
is
everybody's
not,
like, "Is this April 1st?
This is not AI.
This is not AI. This is not a prank call. This is Nico Harrison, soon to be former GM of the Dallas Mavericks." But good show today. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back talking more Louisville sports on the first July edition of the show next Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Roman Kelly, Mike Rutherford going to take you through the week with Cardinal sports. Dalton Pence, Roman Kelly, producer Matt signing off. We'll see you next week.